Stranded man crawls into his own grave in search of hope.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your favorite boogeyman, yeah, and this is another dose of Static Sessions. In this video, we're going to toy with the idea that 9/11, the events of 9/11, may have been scripted, pre-scripted to media outlets across the world. I feel like in this video, I've shown a little bit of proof of that. They say that the building came down due to structural damage from fire. If you've ever been to Lower Manhattan, which I have many times, and seen the area, there were plenty of other less structurally sound buildings that should have went down if that was the case. If World Trade Center 7 went down because of structural damage and fire from the collapse of the two towers, then there's a lot of other buildings that should have went down too, but we'll leave that for another video, which is coming pretty soon. So you guys stay tuned, let me know what you think. Yeah.
New York, you might have heard a few moments ago, was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. It seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of what was a very familiar New York skyline, a symbol of the financial prosperity of this city, but completely disappeared now, and New York is still unable to take on board what has happened to them today.
Presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed. I mean, there were, I suppose, fears of possible further collapses around the area.
That's what you would hope, because they don't really know where to turn. That's the very sad thing. I think there's going to be a lot of very, very traumatized people that has hit them very, very hard.
Jane, I think many of us, when we heard the news, perhaps on the radio earlier today, were completely flabbergasted by it and just couldn't comprehend it. I mean, it almost sounded too far-fetched. I was wondering what it's felt like for you being in Manhattan. Well, unfortunately, I think we've lost the line with Jane Stanley in Manhattan.
So for the people that didn't catch that, BBC News, major media outlet from across the pond, is reporting on a building that has collapsed, but yet it's still standing right behind her, as I clearly pointed out. I would like to see the timestamp too. I wish I knew when they quote-unquote lost the feed to the anchor out in the field, supposedly, because it would kind of, maybe they cut the feed because maybe that's when it was actually collapsing and they wanted to save face. So there you go. But here's another example from right here in the States of media reporting on the building before it collapsed, and then actually reported on it while it was collapsing. Like, oh, it's going down now. You guys let me know what you think, man. Yeah.
I want to tell you that we are getting word from New York right now that another building has collapsed. I understand that this is a 47-story building. Do we have pictures of it? I guess that's smoke now. Correct me if I'm wrong in the control room, please. But is that smoke coming from this third collapse? Okay, that is what we're understanding, which makes sense because it looks like the sun is going down. But the heavy black smoke once again.
Look at that.
Hopefully at this point that building was empty, but I have no way of knowing that. But I'm hoping that enough people have cleared out of downtown Manhattan so that perhaps it wasn't as full as it might be normally around 5:30 on a Tuesday.
That information, of course, take a look at that right-hand side of the screen.
It's going down right now.
There it is.
Yep.
Right down right there.
First, take a look at that right-hand side of the screen. It's going down right now. There it is. Yep. Right down right there.
It is so surreal that it's very hard for most Americans, most anyone in the world, to be able to grasp what is really taking place here.
Welcome to prime time, bitch!